And we turn now to your full forecast. Tony, you've been showing a graphic of a cone of Hurricane Lee and where it could go. For days now, you've been talking about this is too close for comfort.
Yeah, so we're talking about any potential impacts being not until like Friday night or Saturday. And at that time, the storm is only about 300-400 miles off the coast of Cape Cod. So in the world of hurricanes that far out, that's a small window, and that's a little too close for comfort, and why we want to watch the storm closely, because the margin of error increases the further you go out in time, like Friday and Saturday.
Is this a more difficult storm to forecast then than the typical ones we see out there? Because, you know, everybody wants to know what are the chances of a direct hit, but at this stage, it sounds like there are so many different paths it could take.
There are, and you know, each storm has its own challenges, but you know, there's the potential for at least a grazing in southeastern Mass, and especially out towards the Cape and the islands, as far as maybe some rain and wind. As far as a direct hit, not quite sure yet, but you want to check back with us. But you know, Mike, you were talking about that cone. All right, for instance, this is the official forecast track. That red line represents where the hurricane center feels by Saturday afternoon, where the center of the storm will be. And notice that's about 300-400 miles east of Cape Cod. But this cone represents sort of the cone of uncertainty. So in other words, the track could be as far west as southeastern Massachusetts or as far east as way out at sea. But this is the official forecast track, but there's room for error as far as the storm drawing closer. So that's something that we're going to watch very closely. We're going to get back to Hurricane Lee in just a second. I just want to reiterate what's going on in the short term right now, which is obviously very significant. This flash flood warning for the areas in red continues through 11:15, but it may get extended beyond that. We're still tracking some, albeit scattered, some downpours, areas of low clouds and fog in Providence, very humid. This high humidity helps to fuel some of these downpours. We've got temperatures now that are currently in the lower 70s, but these dew points like gasoline when it comes to fueling heavy thunderstorms and downpours. And we've had this really all summer long. So it's very proficient, very easy to create rain that's quite heavy, unfortunately, and today was an example of that. So the flood watch continues, actually expires at 2 in the morning. Despite a couple of showers for tomorrow, nothing of the magnitude or the coverage of what we had today. So I think Tuesday's more nuisance than anything else. So good news there. And obviously watching Hurricane Lee. In the meantime, you got a couple of thunderstorms north of New Bedford right now. You got one cluster of some heavy thunder. This is all associated with a stationary front. So in other words, the air is converging. On one side of the front, the air is blowing north and northeast. On the other side of the front, it's blowing south and southeast. And when both air masses kind of bump into each other, the air is forced to rise rapidly right along this boundary, and the net result are localized downpours. Not one, 2 hurricanes in the Atlantic. Now, Margot actually is way out in the eastern Atlantic, so it's not a concern. But this is Lee. It's a Category 3 storm, still well organized, unfortunately, with winds of 115 miles per hour. And here's the latest from the Hurricane Center. Here's Florida, North Carolina, winds at 115. The forecast track, I'm going to show you that cone again. And notice how the cone expands because of the uncertainty the further out in time we go. So in the world of hurricanes, this is a little too close for comfort, and why you want to check back with us as far as any potential impacts from either rain or wind. Shannon was talking about, you know, what's the potential of landfall. All these white lines represent computer forecast tracks. And notice how they're all concentrated right in this area, just to the east of Cape Cod. So favoring the track to be out here, but notice you've got several that are tracking a little closer to the New England coastline. This makes us a little uncomfortable, and why we want to watch it closely. But should this track pan out, we would just get some big waves and maybe get grazed with some rain and wind out across the Cape and the islands. As far as the probability of tropical storm force winds, meaning winds of at least sustained at 40 miles per hour, notice that the chances is much higher as you get out towards Cape Cod, up to a 30-40% chance. This would be on Saturday afternoon. So another reason why we want to watch it closely. One thing's for sure, this: big waves, big surf, and rip currents once again towards the middle and the latter part of the week. All right, for tomorrow morning, clouds and fog. Locally dense, temperatures in the 70s, maybe an isolated shower during the late morning and afternoon hours. I just don't see the kind of magnitude that we had today, but a passing shower can't be ruled out. Temperatures in the upper 70s still. Very humid. Wednesday, a better chance for some scattered showers. Looking at temperatures on Wednesday in the 70s. Thursday and Friday day, not bad, but we're watching Friday night and specifically Saturday very closely. Just how close or far offshore Lee goes will dictate how Saturday plays out, so do check back with us.